things that we've been through. Life is better with you.
Wait a minute. You're going to start. You're taking a deep breath like you're starting.
I
I'm
was just
starting.
breathing. Okay, go.
Hey, guys. I'm Brian.
And I'm Allison. And this is our life in front of the bleachers.
In front of the bleachers.
Right?
In front of the bleachers. Never in.
Or behind.
Oh. There might have been some time behind the bleachers. I'm just not telling.
Not with me.
That's such a terrible allegation. That's not true. Well, as we continue this series, we're really trying to, between the two of us, give as many of our anecdotes and our stories to kind of let people know our story and our journey and let people know there is some hope in the future. Some of these stories, we've been telling it certainly been difficult. They're difficult things that we've had to overcome, as do all coaches and all wives and everybody in every profession. I'm not naive, but we're in the middle and at the forefront of the entire community on Friday nights in these towns, in these areas, and what we do that is represented by a bunch of teenage young people is many times seems like it's the end of the world if we don't get it done real well. And I feel it. There's no doubt about it. Shoot, there's been some times where I just didn't come home because it went so bad. But I know you've been so supportive, and I think being involved is probably one of the things that you've really taken ownership of more than most any other woman would have ever, just to get involved. So I think we're going to go ahead and defer this entire broadcast to some of the things that you have done historically to help our young people and our program be successful.
And I think, thinking back, it's just, when we had young kids, it was a little harder. It was just being there on the sidelines to be able to talk to the kids and be there for that. Or you bringing them home, driving them by the house to pick food up, or me going to pick them up to take them to practice. But as the years went on and the boys got more involved, where I wasn't watching them on the sidelines, making sure they stayed on the sidelines, I did get more involved with it. The current school we're in, I love being on the sidelines with the boys. It's the best time of the week, is to be there with them.
And why is that?
Just because I think I see a different side of them that you do. I think I pick up different things than you do on the sidelines, and I get to know them more, and they get to know me.
Well, they're a lot less guarded with you, because obviously they have a little bit of fear of Coach Davis because they don't want to let me see that side, but you do see some different aspects.
I do.
Good and bad, I guess.
Well, but they're always very good, and I love these boys as they are our own. And I think we talk about them we do talk about them a lot and what's going on in their lives. So they do become a part of our lives. But thinking back, when the kids were little, we would, going into the season, we would always have a senior. He wanted a senior dinner. So
me.
You.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be helpful to kick off the season so that they would see us in a different light, and knowing that they only had a few months left in their career. At least this was the kickoff to the finality of their last year with playing football, or we did it with basketball too. And I've coached tennis and track. I don't think we did it with those sports, but I think it was for both of us to kind of let our guard down a little bit. Mostly for me, I guess, so they could see me in a different light.
Yeah, and you would most of the time we would do it the night before the first game or the first practice of the season. And always on the menu,
macaroni and cheese, your homemade macaroni and cheese. And well, I tell you, we had the ones that were way back, they just starved for your banana pudding, because your banana pudding was, you got a little swinzel in that too.
That comes from another coach's wife. her mama gave me that recipe. So I've carried that along, and everybody loves it. Um, but that was always a fun time, is getting ready for those boys to come over. And one group, I remember, you learn what they eat and what they like. Some like certain things more than others. And this one group, they loved salads. I don't know why, but they did. And that year, I think I had to, I think that's the most I've ever made salads. But even during the season, that was the season that they would always run out of salads during the season,
Because we
during
had pregame
pregame.
meals that we would, many times you would have to do, because if we didn't have churches or we didn't have the money or parents that could do it,
Hmm.
that would fall on you mostly, or me, but mostly you.
And we've spent times where we have to run to Sam's or Costco and
Well,
pick stuff up.
well,
And
that's the thing that most people don't understand with football is, the last meal that many of these kids are getting sometimes is 11 o'clock in the morning at lunch, and then we're asking them to play a 7 o'clock game, and they haven't eaten anything. So football is just different, and what the energy systems that they're required to use during a game, we have to provide it. So I've been very specific about the menu items, so it's not like we can just go get pizza and burgers and all that stuff. I've been very, you know,
specific, where one, I called her the other coach's wife. Um, she actually created a list of your what you
what my
were
menu items
what
were.
your menu items, what herbs were supposed to be on it, what herbs could not be on it, what additives, everything. She had it down. So,
Well, I mean, it just goes historically when they didn't eat those things, they would cramp up or we would have all kinds of problems. They were lethargic. So we typically had to have a protein. They could get a carbohydrate and they could get a vegetable. And then usually it's water with the meal and such. But even halftime snacks, we have those to recarb and refuel.
yeah. So those are usually oranges and bagels.
And that's what you many times were doing. Parents would many times bring it and you'd end up slicing or cutting and doing all that stuff. And you're
Where,
distributing them in a halftime.
yes, they don't, whether the parents don't understand that the bagels have to be cut, and then they don't. I mean, and it's fine. I'm not complaining because I love doing it. But another coach's wife and I end up being in there slicing oranges and slicing bagels and getting it ready for the boys to come in halftime. And usually it's within 5 minutes we're trying to get the stuff ready where I know it's safe to leave the sidelines. Um, since I'm a little superstitious about leaving sidelines sometimes.
Superstition and coaching. I've never heard such.
Yep. So I'll run up to the field house and we will start getting it ready so that the boys can come in quickly, get their items, and you can speak to them.
But why
But
do you do all this? Honestly, I mean,
honestly,
is
it's
it for me?
just, well, it's to be a part of what you're doing. I feel strongly in what you're doing. I think it's what
I think we make a difference. I
I
do.
think it's what we were chosen to do.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's some times I certainly question that, but
Right.
I
But
think we all do in every facet of life we do. But I mean, as mundane as some of these tasks are, they're really, really important, and the kids do notice. And we really do push in our program. They need to be appreciative and thankful. I think some of these kids are genuine when they're thankful for
oh,
everything you
most
do.
definitely. They I do, we've said it before in another podcast about the chocolate cake. When they win, and it does take me a long time because it's not just a little slice of chocolate cake. It's a slice of chocolate cake. It's
Well,
about that thick.
we
Each
have
piece.
to run extra the next day to run off them calories. That's for sure.
You're the one that started it. So,
Yeah.
um,
But that takes forever on the weekends. When you
it
make
does.
those, I mean, you start many times when we get back from church or something. You'll start right after church, and you'll go till 10 o'clock at night cooking cakes to feed 120 young people. and the coaches too. So you're
And
looking
the
at
coaches too.
130, 140 people you got to feed chocolate cake to, and you ain't giving small slices like you say.
I'm not giving small slices. So in a large size pan, I'm only getting about 20 some pieces. So when I show up on Mondays, they're very excited to see my
And this is
carb
only
bowl.
after wins, right?
Only after
So
wins.
yeah, but so there's some times that I'm
I'm
sure when
not.
we went on those win streaks of 9, 10, 11 straight wins, you were pretty worn out with chocolate
I
cake.
am, but I'm so sad when I go up there and I don't have chocolate cake to give them, or because we do it for JV and varsity. So if JV wins and varsity doesn't, I can only give it to my JV boys. And I have to
JV
watch my varsity boys go, and they hover around waiting for their piece, and I have to tell them that I can't give it to them. It makes me so sad.
Winners win. That's the way it goes.
I know.
I know, but not just the chocolate cake stuff. I mean, all the things you do for the coaches. You've done meals for them, and whether it be getting stuff done for T-shirts for the coaches, mending our uniforms because if something's torn, you're our seamstress.
Yes. So I don't know why you had that idea of that. This one school we were at, we decided to
Put nameplates on
put
them.
nameplates.
Well, it was to get more motivation to come because it was one of those schools that hadn't had success. It was to get them the value coming to the weight room in the summertime. If you don't miss a day, you get your name on the back of your jersey. That was why.
No, I understand it, and the boys loved it. But I remember, so we first have to get the names on like a T-shirt, and then I cut the T-shirts up for the nameplates, and then I have to sew the backing onto the name strip, and then sew the name strip onto the jersey because it's got to come off at the end of the year.
To give to the kid.
Let's
revisit though, because you gave it to the people like I'm making you do
No,
this.
no, no, no. It's not making.
No. Let's
He-
go through
no,
the
no, 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 no,
let's
no.
go through the conversation. I said this is my idea. How hard will it be? Oh, I got it. It's done.
That's
I got
what
it.
usually it starts.
But that's what
Hey,
you're saying.
I know,
And I'm
but it
thinking I'm not
usually starts
stressing
with,
you.
look, I have this idea. What do you think?
And you're like, I can do it. No problem. But then it turns into a problem. Therefore, it was me that created this problem for you.
It took a lot longer than I thought. And I just remember that one time we were doing the white jerseys and I was tired and my finger went into the sewing machine and the needle went through my finger. And I sat there with the needle in my finger going, it's got to be quick. I got to take it out quickly because it's going to start bleeding and I
on
can't
my
get
white jersey.
blood on the white jersey.
Well, it's true.
I know.
Well, at least you're thinking like a coach's wife, even way back when.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, just all this stuff. I mean, even decorations like senior night, you would go and help decorate lockers and do all the things for the kids. And then we have our banquets and all this stuff. You make I remember help me make highlight videos. Getting all the
highlight videos.
That was before technology was technology, right?
Right. It
Wasn't
wasn't
that
that easy back then. And
to take a VHS tape and turn it and convert it into something else. It was a rough deal, but
that usually was about going. I didn't sleep for about 48 hours usually.
and then planning the meal and getting the banquet program and then game programs. You remember you used to help get all the advertising for all the game programs to make money for the program so we could feed the kids and do those things for pregame meals. But going out and getting the sponsorship and then you putting together the design for the game program that we'd sell at the games, and we didn't make money off the sales. We made money off the advertising and such.
Yeah.
But you did all that stuff initially, and that was a major undertaking that you'd have to start way back in the spring to get it ready for August games and such. So, I mean, you've done a lot of stuff, and then helping us clean up facilities. I mean, the coach's office, at least my area, is always immaculate. It's always immaculate. There's no problems whatsoever. So I
hear a mess, not immaculate.
You are. You're getting of age, I guess, and your hearing's going away. But no, I mean, you just do so much for so many, and then with the assistant coaches, you provide those meals for them on the weekend, and whether we got to get coaching apparel and you're helping get the embroidery taken care of, or you're screen printing, you're doing it yourself, you're mending, you're doing all those things. You just help so many people. But other than doing it for me, you know, what do you get out of it? Because a lot of young coaches and coaches' wives today, they're not going to do all that because I can pay somebody to do it. But
I
I
know,
think
but
you had your
sometimes
own.
paying people, it doesn't get done as quickly as you want it to because there's like you've had jerseys where you weren't getting replacements and the boys were going to have to wear their a different number. Well, I feel bad. The boys have their number. They should be able to wear their number. So I make sure that their jersey is ready to go if
Yeah.
it's ripped. And jerseys aren't easy to sew.
No. Well, it has to be good enough that it can withstand the stress of a game that comes about the next time. So yeah, I mean I saw the enormous amount of work that goes into sewing some of those things. Now
And I'm not
I couldn't do
complaining.
it because I would have bled all over the place for
I know,
sure.
but I'm not complaining. I enjoy doing it and it's for the boys.
Well, I think everything we do, in essence, is for the boys. But I mean, even having to go get kids and pick them up and take them to practice, take them to camps. I mean, we would do a lot of stuff in the off season. I think too because we wanted them to see that this is what a coach and his wife, this is what a man and a woman look like when they love each other. And there's been some times where we argue, and we try not to be real strong about it in front of the kids. But man, some women are just very strong-willed, and I haven't won an argument yet. So I win it sometimes on the sidelines with the people that wear the yellow hankies. But when it comes,
It's only because I'm giving them water and Gatorade.
oh, you do every time, and you schmooze them pretty good.
I do.
What
I
you
know
should do
them.
is give them chocolate cake at halftime. Maybe we can get a few more,
I think I have invited some of them for chocolate cake.
and they don't take you up on it. But I think all of those things that we do with the kids, and we would take them to Chapel Hill. We'd take them to the Final Four. We'd go watch the basketball games in the Dean Dome. We would take them to camps. We would take them to community service events. We do all
Oh,
those
yeah.
things because, like you said, it is like it's raising your kids. But to see the light bulb, because we see them, in your profession, your direct where you get paid, you see them on the very front end,
Mhm.
and you used to see them at the middle end, and I see them on the back end. To see the evolution of a child when the light bulb starts to go off, that maybe there is something different out in the world, not because of us, but maybe some of the examples we gave to them are certainly that. But those experiences to recognize that there's more out there a little bit, and if you'll just persevere and you'll really work hard towards some of these goals and stay goal oriented and focused on it, and work hard like you do because they see you working and you don't get paid a dime, and they see your love for your husband, and I don't know that that's visible near as much as it used to be in our world, and I think it needs to be more so. And I appreciate you being able to do that, not just for me, obviously I love you, but just for those young people to be able to see you pour your heart into something you see is important, which is my profession. And I don't get paid any more money, whether you're there or not there, whether we win or lose. I don't get paid a lot more money regardless, but we see what the investment is.
And sometimes I feel like it is an investment in those kids, but I think it's an investment in the school too. Is because we've been places where there's been one trainer and that's it. And
If I mean, not even a
it
trainer, it's like a first responder, not like
right.
a
And
trainer.
so trying to do everything and there's a kid down on the sidelines and he's trying to get him off the sidelines and then he's working with him and then another one goes down on the field and that one's left alone and
But just saying, everybody knows that's how I met her because she was a trainer in college. She was a student trainer, so it's not like she's doing something that she's not equipped to do, and she's not treating them. She's just trying to help them in the moment. But
I'm
I did
just
meet you
being a
that way.
mom.
I met you that way. Now you don't remember me because I was so much younger than you at the time, and I probably was one of those things very forgettable for you because why would you remember this dude? But I remember you.
No, you do not.
I am saying it for this broadcast purpose so that people can, oh, that's so sweet, right?
Mhm.
But no, I think, you do all those things because you see a need. You don't just sit there and watch and just say somebody else is going to do it. And I see so many other people in this day and age that just somebody else is going to take care of it. And you just go do it. If it was laundry, if it was the kid needed cleats, if a kid needed clothes, you run into the store. If a kid needed, you just go. You just do it. You don't ask questions. You just do it because you know it's the right thing to do. And, I think that goes unnoticed too often and maybe unthanked too often by your husband, maybe by other people. I tell you usually, but
No, you tell me.
I know,
I'm
but
not
maybe
being
not enough.
sarcastic though.
But maybe not enough, and maybe not at the right time. And there's some things you do that I didn't notice, some things that you don't announce. But I'd like to say thank you. And I bet there are a lot of young people because over the course of 28 years of me coaching,
Mhm.
having been with some college too as well, but 28 years of coaching, I would say we average, I can't say that because there's some of the same kids every year, but it's got to be in the tens of thousands of kids that we've worked with, whether it be girls, because we deal with cheerleaders. We help sometimes with them and bands out there and doing all the things. We had tailgate parties and we would invite all
Mhm.
these people out too. The tens of thousands of kids, they each take a little bit of us with them. And I think we take a lot of them
I think
because
we do
those
take a lot of
memories,
them.
I do. I think it gets us up in the morning, and I think we're getting on the twilight of our career. At least I am, and I still think what keeps me going many times are the kids. Uh, there's not all the other mess that I like to deal with, just like you don't like dealing with the mess of the world and all the paper and all the other stuff that you have to do with your jobs, but it's the kids. So for all
Mhm.
those other professions that are pushing paper and worried about money, um, it ain't gonna bring the same joy that dealing with kids does, and it's probably not gonna bring the same heartache either because it is disappointing to see kids when they don't make it, in spite of what you've tried to give them. Whether they misunderstand, maybe they don't want to fall in line, and I think we take a little bit of that too, disappointment with us. And we got
Yeah,
some stories
it
of
hurts.
some bad ones as we go through too. So, but I'd like to again to thank you for all you do, and I mean, she'll probably be able to do some other things later on and be able to answer some specifics about how she's done things. She certainly needs to write a cookbook. She needs to write an off-season book, a sideline book, in the office book. You
I
need to
don't know.
write
The cookbook, it would be for
too many
large
people.
quantities.
Yeah, I don't know if you could scale it down for
I,
everybody.
I'm having a hard time doing it when
I
it's just
know. Have you
us.
seen my gut lately? It's so bad. It's so bad. You got to scale it down a little bit.
It's
But
a little hard to go from cooking for a football team to cooking for two.
for two, yeah, because we're empty nested now, so it makes it a little more difficult. So that's another motive for doing this here is it gives us a chance to talk and you not yell at me about not doing the dishes right or something. No, I'm just kidding. You don't. Well, there you go. Bite your lip. It is what it is, but it's marriage. We love each other, and I think that's what has allowed us over the years because we know that we're going to be charged at times, but it'll work itself out. It's going to be one of those moments where we'll laugh about it. Typically, if we're fighting about anything, it usually ends in laughter because we're going to go ahead and figure out it wasn't all that important,
You
whatever it
usually
was.
make a joke about it.
Well, I mean, why not? Because, of course, I'm always wrong. I might as well make a joke about it. If you were wrong, I don't know if I'd joke about it nearly as much, but you're always right. So I apologize.
See?
And I'm apologizing ahead of time because you know why? I sure do love you.
I love
We'll see.
you.
This is our life in front of the